Good morning. Good morning. And the only reason I do that is because I know that Chris is going to be up later talking about zeal. So we're getting ready for that one as well. Good morning to all of those here in the sanctuary. If you're at home on Zoom, we welcome you as well. We've got 3 folks on Zoom. I know we're going to have more joining us any moment right now. I am Reverend Jim Ernst, and it's so glad to have you here at Unity of Charlotte. And we're so pleased to have you here on this first day of June. So for me, that signals summer. And I hear birds chirping, and I feel the sun on my back, and it feels so good. So welcome. We have our mission statement, which we focus on for everything we do here at Unity of Charlotte. So please join me in that mission statement. Unity of Charlotte is the place where we nurture a deep and mature experience of God through the practice of unity principles. Simply put, we are here to love, grow, and serve. Yes, we're here to love, grow, and serve. So, if you're here for the first time, we would like to give you just a gentle welcome. Is there anyone here that's joining us for the first time? Please raise your hand just nice and gently. Okay, fantastic. We've all been here at least once before, so welcome once again. And you know that there are many ways, as you see on the screen, many ways to find out what's going on here at Unity of Charlotte. We have that website, we have the newsletter, we have Facebook, and we're going to talk about Facebook a little bit later on. We have that YouTube channel, which is the service that shows up later. You can always go back and watch those previous services. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe to that channel. It helps us out. So you click on the little bell and it really helps us out. The bulletin board is the physical, old school bulletin board down the hall where we pin things up. So check that out because it has everything that we do, even those things that we don't announce on a Sunday. So check out that bulletin board as well. Into something a little more serious, let's go ahead and move into prayer at this time. So I invite you to take that breath to move within. Maybe close your eyes if that feels right. As we take this moment to move within that heart space, letting go of the thoughts and that head, all the things going on, all the lists of things to do, and just move into that feeling space, that shift from the thinking into the feeling. We notice that heart space. We allow that to expand. We allow that to expand in this moment of deep awareness as we open ourselves up to that reality that truly I am beyond simply my humanity, that I am divine. I invite my mind and heart to recognize that I am divine, and I rise into that realization with every aspect of my being. I was created in the goodness and likeness of God, and I'm so grateful for that. That goodness is physical, mental, emotional, and above all, spiritual. That divinity that is ours, that is mine. Again, we take that breath. And again, we feel that gratitude for this space, for each other, for the time that we've dedicated to be here with each other in support of our own spirituality, that journey. And with that, we say, it is so. Amen. Also want to move into that space where we can speak aloud. If you know anyone who is in need of prayer at this time, or yourself, a person, a situation, now is the time where we will hold those in our heart collectively as a congregation, collectively as Unity of Charlotte. So at this time, say those names or situations out loud. Hannah, Darlene, Kurt, We hold those people, we hold those situations in our hearts. We bless them for those apparent needs which they have. And we see that coming together for good. Amen. We do have a prayer team as well. Well, let's go ahead and do our unity prayer of oneness together. So, out loud, please, with me. There is one presence and one power in my life and universe, God the good, omnipotence. And again, the reminder that we do have a prayer team that collects those prayers that we have in the prayer box. So there are forms. You can jot down your prayer request. They remain confidential, so you don't have to put your name. You won't get a call if you don't want to. This is simply our prayer team holding you in prayer for that person, for that situation, knowing that we will pray over that person or situation for 30 days. We also bundle those up and send those to Silent Unity at the Village in Missouri, and they pray for them as well for an additional 30 days. So lots of prayer going on. There's also a form on our website where you can digitally fill out a prayer request, or you can also call Silent Unity. That is that service which Unity World Headquarters puts together. Silent Unity, you can call that number and get a person and ask them to pray with you. So you see that number on our screen as well. That number is on the bulletin board as well, and that number is on our website and newsletter. If you haven't signed up for our newsletter, tons of stuff going on, so please do that as well. And I would like to invite up Chris as we do our daily word for June 1st. Mm-hmm.
Good morning, Unity.
Good morning.
My name is Chris with the Daily Word, June 1st. Zeal. Divine zeal is my impulse to accomplishing great things. Toward the end of a long life journey, Unity co-founder Charles Fillmore famously wrote, "I fairly sizzle with the zeal and enthusiasm and spring forth with the mighty faith to do the things that ought to be done by me." This story shows me that the divine gift, zeal, is always mine to call upon. No matter my age or my state of life, it is an impulse that makes me eager to rise in the morning and gives me energy to get started the day's task. It drives me to give the best of myself to the people and things I care about the most. Zeal is quickening, unliving energy that helps me feel the presence of God within and bring the presence of life in a way that I only can. I sizzle with zeal, with passion and enthusiasm. I live, love, and serve. Do not lag in zeal. Be ardent in spirit. Serve the Lord. Romans 12:11. Daily Word.
One voice. All right, good morning. So June 1st marks a new month. So our theme, which over the year our theme is growing. And we have a different way we grow each month. And so June 1st, we are growing through oneness. Now, what the heck does that mean? Well, stick around. We're going to talk about that. Growing it through oneness. And the title today is Divinity and Diversity. And I love alliterations. It's fun. And I thought of a third one that I could have added. Divinity and diversity and division. But I didn't think of it time to get on the slide. So I get to share it with you. June 1st is also the start of Pride Month. So it's an opportune time as we're talking about oneness about how we come together, but how we understand and grow through oneness through diversity. And so let me ask you, let's just start off with a question. Does spiritual oneness mean that we're all the same? Okay, I'm getting some yeses and some no's. What? I agree. Yeah, it's kind of yes and no. And we'll dive into that, but you're right. No matter what you said, you're right. Isn't that good? So at least one time today you can say, I was right. Maybe. We'll find out. Another question might be, is oneness and diversity contradictory? Oneness and diversity. We might think it is, but really it's not. And that's what we're going to dive deeper into today. Because as we look at it, oneness and diversity are not contradictory. Oneness and separation are. Oneness, we're either one or we're all separate. And that, those contradict each other, but diversity doesn't necessarily mean separateness. But often we think that it does, and often we use it to reinforce separateness. So we're going to look today at how oneness is actually about our shared essence, not our identical expression. And that's what we're going to dive into. So let's start out with this idea. Unity does not mean uniformity. Have you ever seen that before? That's out there a lot now. Unity, being unified, doesn't mean we're all uniform. We're all, and this is where I say, are we all the same? No, not necessarily, we're not. But we do all share the same source and essence of being. And in that sense, yes, we are. So let's dive into this. Actually, let me wait before I go to that one, because I want to take a moment to talk about how we grow through oneness. Oneness is an awareness, a realization of a reality that we aren't always conscious of. And so as we begin to explore the relationship between diversity and oneness, it's actually a very profound discovery of how they are related. Because when we accept and include at a very deep soul level that all diverse expressions are the one, we will discover the one. When we include all diverse expressions, accept them and include them, we will discover our oneness. Conversely, when we go within and find that consciousness of oneness within ourselves, we will discover that oneness in everything, in all its diversity and expression. So being aware of oneness doesn't erase differences, but it accepts the diversity and honors it as a part of the oneness of spirit. And the more we embrace our uniqueness, while we're rooted in an awareness of our single source, the more we are able to create what we call the beloved community. And when I say beloved community, I mean within our individual relationships, within our families, within our spiritual community, and within the world. Beloved community has no limits. Now, let's start with the idea of community, and we're going to take a little trip to Corinth, the church in Corinth where Paul was the lead. And Paul has been getting letters from his members at Corinth complaining and finding out that they're having little squabbles and fights, and they're fighting over who's got the more important spiritual gifts or attributes, who brings more to the community, and who's more important. And as soon as you decide someone's more important, what happens? Somebody's got to be less important. And of course, that's not going to be taken very well in a community that's based on love. So there's a lot of division going on based on how people show up in the community. So this is what Paul's addressing. And the whole chapter of Corinthians 12 deals with this in several different ways that are really powerful, and they're often quoted. But the one we're going to look at is from the 12th verse, where he says, "For just as the body is one and has many members, and all the members of the body, though many, are one body, so it is with Christ." Our Christ self, that is our spiritual nature, our spiritual consciousness, knows and lives and experiences our oneness. Yeah, that is where we are all the same. That is that divine light that shines in each and every person. How we express it is limitless. Limitless. So we all come with a different history, a different culture, a different language, a different gender, a different identity, but we bring with us all these different spiritual ideas and gifts that, when they are brought together in community, enrich it. And are, in fact, how we experience being whole. That's where we experience our wholeness. So Paul is affirming here that every person has a unique role, and each role is vital to the whole. And he's emphasizing that the diversity of gifts, it's not a cause for division or rivalry, but for mutual support and appreciation. Mutual support and appreciation. So that's a big shift. I can see you're different than me. You're bringing a different set of ideas, a different skill set. Does that raise a little jealousy in me? Do I get a little concerned that it's not right for our community? Do I judge it in any way? Or do I get curious and go, oh, how interesting. How interesting. Now you've included it in. And then something miraculous happens. Because now something brand new that neither one of you ever thought could happen starts to show up, because you have opened up to unlimited possibilities. He goes on to say, if the whole body were an eye, where would the hearing be? I mean, who wants to be one big eye? You can see, but what about all the other ways you get to experience yourself in the world? So he's using this body, the physical body, as a metaphor, right? Because all the organs of the body work together as one single unit, one expression. And we can see that reflected all over our world, in so many different ways. But in metaphysical Christianity, when we look at this metaphysically, we're talking about the fact that each person has human and divine qualities that they bring with them. The divine qualities are those essences or attributes of spirit. Those are the 12 powers we've been reading about in our book club. Our human qualities are those that we have manifested as an individual expression here on the planet. That comes from our background, the culture we grew up in, the family we were raised in, the friends we created, our passions and desires. But all of it is based on a spiritual expression of love. Because that's who and what we are. That's who and what we are. So each gift, every voice, every cultural difference, every life experience is both needed and sacred. The life experience you bring here, your stories of who you are and how you have discovered who you are, your story, how you identify yourself, how you relate to the world, your worldview. You bring all that with you into this community to share. Not to judge, but to share. And the more we share with each other, the more we understand each other, the more we begin to understand our oneness. Now, and that just fascinates me, that it's through our differences that we get to understand and actually experience a sense of oneness at a whole different level. Because now let's move to the metaphysical perspective of this. And I move to Charles Fillmore, who is co-founder of the Unity movement with his wife, Myrtle. And he says, we are all one in spirit. Therefore, let us seek to understand and love each other in that spirit. Let us seek to love and understand each other. I think it's really important that he uses the word understand here, not just love. Because love is kind of like, I love you and I accept you. But to understand you, I'm going to have to find out about you. I'm going to want to hear your story. I'm going to want to know something about you and what you bring with you in this beautiful expression of you. And in that sharing of our stories, that sharing of who we are individually, that's when we really create this community of wholeness and oneness. Diversity is how God expresses creatively through each of us. Our first principle, which we say as our prayer of oneness every Sunday, is that there is but one power, one presence, one source of all life. We call it God, divine mind, spirit. Our second unity principle is that if that's all there is, remember, are you and me, God is all there is? We're all one life living that Godness. That's God expressing. God is energy. God is love. God is life, expressing through each one of us individually, but all the same energy. And that's the creative nature of God, and it's the creative nature of who we are, because then we get to keep creating through our thoughts, through our words, through our beliefs, and through our actions. And in form is just one of the ways we create. But here we are in form, so let's have fun by remembering that it's all God expressing, because God is all there is. God is all there is. So while unity is the spiritual reality behind diversity, it doesn't deny it, because that diversity is within the whole. It's not somewhere outside of it. So diversity of culture, language, identity, ability, perspective, it's all the creative activity of God in form. It's all the creative activity of God in form. And even though an experience of oneness transcends form, it includes the form. And therefore, this is why we often say, it's not about moving to be colorblind. Oh, I see everybody as the same. We don't see everybody as the same. That's the beauty. And to deny that by being what we call colorblind, you're actually denying someone the identity of who they are and how they're expressing. So what if we are color rich? By seeing all the colors, all the gender identities, all of the ways that we express ourselves as a simple part of this creative, amazing, beautiful quilt of humanity. Now we're beginning to touch on our own oneness with all that is. And when we know our oneness with all that is, we know God. And isn't that what the spiritual journey is for? That's our goal. So, inclusivity is the action of oneness. Inclusivity is the action of oneness. Oneness in action is the ability to be inclusive. When I think about inclusivity, I suddenly feel a sense of expansion. When I'm caught in my own little thoughts and ideas and judgments, I start to restrict my perception of how I see everything. But when I go, oh, what, and curiosity the word keeps coming up for me, because curiosity is the way that softens that boundary of my ideas of judgment. Because curiosity says, oh, what else is there besides what I see? What else is there besides what I think I know? What else? What else? There's a story, a parable of the blind man and the elephant. I've shared this with you before, but I want to share it in a little bit of a different way because it's a great example of this. So it says, once 6 blind men came across an elephant for the first time. Each one approached it from a different angle, and they touched a different part of the animal. So one touched the side, and they said, oh, the elephant's like a wall, big, solid wall. Another touched the tusk, and it said, oh, no, it's like a spear. A third one felt the trunk and declared, well, you're both wrong. It's like a snake. The fourth one felt the leg and said, oh, no, clearly it's like a tree. The fifth touched the ear and said, oh, no, it's like a fan. And finally, the sixth held the tail and said, you're all wrong. It's like a rope. Now, for each one of these men, were they wrong? No, that was their experience from where they were in their perspective. So what would it take? Because, they began to argue after this, right? They're going to argue, and they might even come to blows over who's right. But they're all right because they're seeing it from a perspective. So then a wise person passes by, and he says to them, each of you is touching only one part of the elephant. If you listen to each other, you'll begin to understand the whole. I just got goosebumps. If we listen to each other, it means it's not that our perspective's wrong. It's just limited. And there's a lot more perspectives out there. So curiosity says, oh, what's your perspective on this? I know what mine is. And the more we hear each other's stories and we hear each other's perspectives, the greater our perception grows until we have the miraculous revelation of our wholeness and oneness with everything that is. And that is a revelation. To know that and feel that and experience that and then live from it. And I've been there, but I'm also still practicing because it doesn't always stay. To live from that consciousness takes a practice each and every day, a commitment when I get up to say, what's my purpose? My purpose is to live from my Christ consciousness. What does that mean? That means recognizing that God is all there is. Recognizing in every diverse expression I experience today, there is God expressing. And I can accept that and include it so I can return to that experience of oneness. Oneness affirms the divine essence behind all things. Diversity reveals the richness of that essence. Oneness is the spiritual reality that is our foundation of being. Diversity is the beautiful, rich, unlimited way that oneness expresses, that divinity expresses. So, I'm going to invite you to a practice this week. First, I'd like to pose two questions to you and leave that for you to just take in and think about. Where in my life can I more deeply understand others' differences? Where in my life is there an opportunity to understand someone's differences? I would venture to say we all have a place, and we know where that is. Because life offers us lots of opportunities. Because life offers us these opportunities to come back to remembering we're all one. Because that's what life is. The second question is, how can I experience unity without erasing uniqueness? So that's another question. How do I experience my oneness without erasing the uniqueness of everything I see around me, including my own uniqueness? How you are in your own uniqueness is your divine expression. And finally, I would encourage two spiritual practices before we go into the meditation. One would be, and this touches the two levels. It touches the level of knowing the oneness, which is a shift in consciousness. So this is seeing others through the lens of the Christ. Reverend Jim spoke to that last week a lot. That whole, whenever we say namaste, we're declaring that I'm claiming the divinity in you that is also within me. That's a practice, right? And whatever words work for you, you find what words work for you. Seeing the divine in another. And the second is listening with the intention to understand and appreciate. Listening with an intention, with a curiosity, with a desire to know something new about that person. Because Charles Fillmore says, when we understand each other, love grows. And as love grows, so does our awareness of oneness, because love and oneness are the same. They are the same. So let's look at an affirmation. I offer this to you. You may create your own affirmation. If something comes to you, please, I invite you to use what resonates with your heart. The affirmation that came to me this week was, in diversity, I see the infinite creativity of God. In diversity, I see the infinite creativity of God. Let's say that together. In diversity, I see the infinite creativity of God. Now I invite you to move into a meditation, a time of meditation where we get to take this message, take what you heard, what resonated with you, and bring it into your heart at this time. I invite you to gently close your eyes. If it helps, begin to focus on your breath as a way to simply relax and become more present to the here and the now. Take a moment to focus on the breath in and the breath out. Feel the air moving in and out. And as you keep focusing on that breath, feel your face just relax a little more. Your shoulders drop. Your hands relax in your lap. And feel or allow or invite in a sense of calm, of peace, and of openness. That openness may feel like a sense of spaciousness, a wide open inner space where you are safe. There is light and love supporting you. And into this space, let's invite someone in our life that we are being called to include unconditionally. Someone who might be giving us some challenges. Generally, that's where our judgments come up. Someone that we want to feel a divine connection with. It can be someone you know personally. It could be someone on the news, somebody who's out in the world who sets triggers off for you. Whoever that person is, just invite them into this space, an image of them, knowing you are safe and that this is a sacred space of love. Just take a moment to visualize that person. Your mind might start telling stories about them, but let that story go. Just let them be present in your mind. And once you have them there, soften your heart and ask, what is it I don't know about you? What is it I don't know about you? And feel a sense of curiosity. This is a sacred space to simply explore. But feel how that feels when you are in front of this person and you open up with curiosity to simply ask, tell me more about you. Perhaps you'll hear something from them. Perhaps a perspective of them you've never witnessed before or seen. Just let that be. And still holding this image of that person in your mind, we let go of all the stories and we simply bless them and bless their life. A blessing is simply expressing the divinity of love that exists in every living being. It acknowledges and claims that love. So bless yourself, bless this person, and bless this relationship. And remember, in that love is where you find your connection and your oneness. For God is never absent in any relationship. Let that blessing sit sweetly in your heart as you release them, release that image, release everything you think about them, and simply come back to your own heart. and say thank you. Thank you for the diverse, creative expressions of God that I see and witness and experience in my life. Thank you. Take a nice deep breath in. A long, slow exhale out. Let your focus and attention begin now to come back up behind your eyes as you begin to wiggle fingers and toes, gently moving the body to become more present physically. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes and behold the magnificent diversity in which we live. Namaste.
Lord. Thank you, Reverend Lisa. Thank you. We now get to experience the incredible power of giving and receiving. It is your very presence and generous gifts that you offer that feed the vitality of this community and allow us to continue to love, grow, and serve each other as well as the world. There are many different ways to give to this ministry. That donate button on our website, the text to give option, you can use your smartphone. Bill pay, which Reverend Lisa and I use in giving, the QR codes that you see, and the QR codes are also in the plates that are coming around, so you can grab one of those and use that as well as cash and checks. So, take that call because it might be a gift. Ask if they would like to, anyway, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. So hold your gift in your hand. If you've already given online or with that bill pay, hold the image of that gift as together we say out loud, joyously I give this gift, knowing the divine presence blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. We are light, love, power, and presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.